our next speaker, Dr. Arvind Kumarji. I will briefly introduce him. Dr. Arvind Kumar is the founder president of India Water Foundation, which is a non-profit organization and a think tank. He is also governor at the World Water Council, Marseille, France. With more than 20 years of experience, he specializes in ecosystem-based adaptation, water energy food nexus with specific emphasis on interlinkages between water, environment, and SDGs. He is a member of Technical Advisory Committee for India's second and third National Communication and Biennial Update Reports to UNFCCC. He is also a member of the National Wetlands Committee, MOEFCC, Government of India. He holds PhD in Defense Studies and he has published over 400 research articles, blogs, etc. He is also editor of online e-magazine Focus Global Reporter. So we welcome you, Dr. Arvind Kumarji, and please share your thoughts with us on this day. I will share your PPT as well.
Yeah, please.
Yes. Give me a moment. I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, Dr. Tripti, I am audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Good afternoon, Dr. Vasudevan, Vice Chancellor, and colleagues, experts, and audience. Thanks for gathering here to hear me speaking on ecosystem restoration through ecosystem-based adaptation. I am pleased to have an opportunity to raise a pressing concern in the light of COVID pandemic and bringing to you as emerging approach that is new for all. Communities have been adapting to climate variabilities for centuries, but today their coping mechanisms are being outpaced by the fast changing climate in response to global climate change impacts. Most countries have focused on the hard and gray infrastructure options such as embankments for flood controls or new reservoirs to cope with water shortages. These options can be costly to build and maintain and generally do not take the benefits of ecosystem-based approaches into the account. Next slide, please. Next slide.
Yes, just a moment.
In the words of Enger Anderson, Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Program, he caused the planetary crisis, but we can done. World Environment Day join us as we launch the UN Decade on the ecosystem restoration to prevent, halt, and reverse ecosystem degradation. Environment or water sees no boundaries, and hence all kinds of ecosystems can be restored, including forests, farmlands, cities, wetlands, and oceans. Restoration initiatives by almost everyone, from governments, from development agencies to business and communities and individuals. In this presentation, I shall walk through how restoring ecosystem protects and improves livelihoods of people who depend on them, with the case study of Meghalaya, northeastern state of India. Next, please. The challenges I shall be talking about are mounting demand for water services and SDGs, and UN Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, economic growth coupled with fight against climate change and biodiversity loss to be top priorities. Environmental degradation and irresponsible and sustainable natural resource utilization. On the brighter side, the golden opportunities shall be heightened when we discuss environment or water having no boundaries or restoration pressing with the SDG goals. Even more, we understand how the power of nature can be harnessed for trickle down benefits to human communities and natural systems. Next, please. Before we begin, I would like to take an opportunity to present a brief history of our experience and activities molded or present. Prelude to the establishment of India Water Foundation, I started my career in media in 1996 and propagated various environmental issues through my write-ups and articles. However, journalism was a mission and not a profession to carry service to society. My early experiences influenced through sustainability motives towards taking environment as a passion which turned into profession. India, once a water surplus country, entailed the livelihoods of becoming a water deficit country in the wake of fast depletion of groundwater resources and pollution of surface water resources, including in rivers. However, this water crisis was predominantly a man-made problem owing to extremely poor management, lack of focused and ambiguous laws, absence of environmental friendly norms, disposal of industrial and human waste, garbage, further aggravating this water supply crunch and corruption, having a multiplying effect on the Milade. Next. Imbued with missionary zeal and humanitarian passion to contribute to the society and the nation, we established India Water Foundation in 2008 and focusing on knowledge exchange, capacity building measures, sustainable funding, branding technology, interventions, policy, governance. Today, we stand as few agencies accredited in United Nations and membership of eminent international organizations. Benigning with the envisaging water as a valuable resource and conservation of environment, its judicious utilization through an integrated approach, not compartmentalization efforts, we fostered a new paradigm of cooperation, convergence, collaboration, which become the cornerstone of our mission. At IWF, we regard water not merely a sector, but a connector that provides solutions, supporting strategies to tackle climate change effectively and facilitate hassle-free adaptation. Water connects policy areas, economic sectors, and society, and such is a tool for cooperation for building trust. Next. Next slide, please. In wake of an explicit role of water in the process of climate change, we have fostered close cooperation with government, UN agencies, international organizations, and communities as ground zero. Our visits abroad have been a source of valuable learning and insight, as well as entail a motto of understand globally and act locally. Further, more than 10,000 letters we have communicated to various ministry agencies and in India since inception in this regard. We expose the case for right to water as a fundamental right, propose the idea of regional water hub at the World Water Day at World Water Day celebration 2010 in Nairobi. It was jointly hosted by UNEP and UN Habitat. We have been promoting awareness on water-related issues. Sans any glamour and monetary advantage, of course, we have bound to face odds of various sorts. Next, please. The impact of silo effects result in the visible changes pertaining to single sector. However, as a civil society working more than a decade, made me traverse nearer to communities, especially at grassroots level. An integrated bottom-up approach was implemented in expression districts of India during our visits and working by interlinking indicators like water, health, education, skill development, etc., to create sustainable inclusion to ground zero. This was the summary of our organization, which I wanted to share amongst everyone, and I and by the milestone our organization has reached in the date. Next, please. Let us have an idea of what exactly ecological restoration and ecosystem-based adaptation stand for, and what make them a natural pathway towards restoring the ecological integrity. Ecological restoration has the purpose of recognizing the need to massively accelerate global restoration of degraded ecosystem to fight climate heating crisis, enhance water security, provide clean water, and protect biodiversity. According to IUCN, ecosystem-based adaptation involves the conservation, sustainable management, and restoration of ecosystems are cost-effective solutions that can help people adapt to the impact of climate change. Examples of such nature-based solutions to be climate change include sustainable agriculture, integrated water resource management, and sustainable forest management. Next. So there is a difference between restoration and rehabilitation, as you can see on the slide. In short, restoration has a broad meaning with the inception of the UN Decade on the Ecosystem Restoration in March 2019. Our trajectory towards nature have paced fast towards finding answers for sustainable development. This is a significant decade from 2021 to 30. As a matter of fact, we don't lose sight of investigating in nature. Next, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. I am audible. Next slide, please.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
There was some internet
Okay.
problem. I hope the slide is visible.
No, it's ninth. Yes.
No, I have changed from, yeah.
Okay. So as highlighted above the need for EBA, this nuanced approach has new motivations and the advantage that propels us to options this innovative mechanism. Fast forward to the COVID-19 crisis, and some states are once again using restoration as an engine of employment, especially in rural areas where jobs are badly needed. That strategy not only have any potential to kick start economic growth, it is also key in the fight against climate change and biodiversity loss, reviving nature in once core of the UN Decade on ecosystem restoration is global push to repair lands lost to development that is set to begin in 2021. But now we must step up on the massive scale and action to restore our degraded ecosystems. The recent IPBES Global Assessment Report on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services finds that around 1 million animals and plant species are now threatened and with extinction within decades, more than ever before in human history. Next, please. We need to know why EBA as a nature-friendly approach in imperative of our time. They are cost-effective solutions that can be help people adapt to the impact of the climate change by harnessing the power of nature, its benefit to human communities and nature system as well is unparalleled. Let us have a look at the benefits of this value-loaded approach. It emphasizes water as a socio-economic connector and indicator that interlinks sector like agriculture, energy, biodiversity through sector synergy and intersectoral convergence. EBA harnesses biodiversity and ecosystem services to increase resilience and reduce the vulnerability of human communities and natural systems to climate change. Next, please. Next slide, please.
Yes, I'll
Healthy
change.
ecosystem. Yeah, healthy. Thank you. Healthy ecosystem as intact forest, wetlands, and coastal areas provide many benefits to local communities, including firewood, clean water, medicines, shelter, and food. They can also form physical barriers against extreme weather events such as cyclones and storm surges. In our latest wetland uh, report, we actually include all these things. And EB restores ecological integrity through effective ecosystem management and contributes to biological conservation through primarily an adaptation approach. EB also contribute to climate change mitigation to reducing the emission that transpire from habitat loss and ecosystem degradation. Next, please. I would like to share with you all the case study of Meghalaya, northeastern state of the India. Our solution there were based on the perception of water as an integral part of ecosystem, a natural resource and socio-economic indicator. In 2010, we start working with Meghalaya government, and IW had delivered a partnership model, and it's only the organization sharing input to run a state flexi program, and also brought on board UNC's development partner and a unifying platform designed designating as a clear role and mandate to be taken up in the state. We are activist and partner in progress. Today, Meghalaya find mention in our Prime Minister's speeches and President for the entire country. Next, please. Next slide, please. Meghalaya was chosen as a pilot study for the implementation of EBA because Meghalaya is rich in the important minerals such as coal, limestone, large forest cover, soil biodiversity, rich flora, fauna, blessed with abundant water bodies. However, practices like unsustainable agriculture like dune cultivation or unsustainable mining has affected soil and water quality, biodiversity, and enhanced problems of the environmental degradation. Practices like deforestation, hunting drastically affected hydrological and biodiversity parameter with no fish in the water, no birds in the sky at the time. Swamps and marshes and other wetlands were increasingly being reclaimed for urban and agriculture expansion. Next, please. Next slide, please. In addition to the above problems, there were several stumbling blocks we observed: lack of will on the part of the political leadership, absence of confidence building measures in cross-border areas to improve livelihoods of the affected people, negation of the role of civil society, absence of regional media role, lack of cooperation, coordination in tackling environmental-related issues. Next, please. Next slide. As a development partner with Meghalaya Basin Development Authority, which was created on the advice of India Water Foundation as a member, and I also being member with the Chief Minister Council, the Meghalaya Basin Development Authority and Council was created of Meghalaya government. Integrated Basin Development Livelihood Program was launched in 2012. The IBDLP is designed around 4 pillars: knowledge management, natural resource management, entrepreneurship development, and good governance, and is being implemented in mission mode through over the 24 of missions. Every mission is designed to leverage the comparative advantage that Meghalaya has the generate livelihood opportunity for every household and to accelerate growth. Next, please. As a partner in progress and knowledge partner, we facilitated center-state convergence, supported public partnership, elicited cooperation and expertise from the national and international development funding agencies, designed and implemented programs to sensitize communities and coupled global and local knowledge and learning to further disseminate on water related interrelated sector, most importantly identifying and implementing funding and development partners and assigning them their roles. Next, please. Sustainable development and ecosystems are interlinked with water. Once resilience to water-induced calamities and environment-induced vagaries in enhanced attainment of other goals will be easier because both water and climate change are in the root of the bulk of the calamities. EBA interventions have resulted in the restoration of traditionally natural water resources like ponds, walls, and man-made wetlands. For instance, creation of around 1,000 Jalkonda, small water reservoirs, fulfilled need for drinking, domestic water, irrigation, especially in lean season, and com, uh, uh, complementing mission like forestry, pisciculture, horticulture, agriculture, livestock, and tourism, etc. Next, please. Yeah. The provision of ecosystem. Next, please. Next, please. Next slide.
Yes.
19. The provision of ecosystem services, which are defined as the benefits that natural ecosystem provide to society, IWF has embarked on various capacity building programs of relevant stakeholders in the harnessing EBA in managing water and other natural resources in Meghalaya. Opening of spice board, bamboo cottage industries, many more. As a result of agroforestry and farmland restoration, Meghalaya experienced surpluses in several agriculture and horticulture commodities and emerged as a regional hub for food processing by orienting and entrepreneurial skills of people of the state. The major agro horticulture product like rice, maize, pineapple, banana, strawberry, spices like turmeric, ginger, black pepper, long pepper, and etc. Flowers like orchids and others sold at a broader heart and also processed and further linked with market value chain opened a new window of employment and entrepreneurship by development of MSMEs. Next, please. You can see these images of tea, honey, and silk, which Meghalaya produces. We initiated brand Meghalaya in 2011 in Delhi, inviting more other stakeholders and other sector partners too. And now this is a very flourishing industry in Meghalaya. Next, please. Next slide, please. This model stands unique as it is the perhaps among the first development model to ensure active smart citizen partnership rather than beneficiary approach in Meghalaya in holistic manner has helped in creating a brand Meghalaya. It enabled the local communities to garner multiple benefits appearing from restoration of farmlands, man-made wetlands, forest conservation, sustainable forest management, and especially the secret mangroves and actually the secret forest, secret water park, like some that have helped in food diversity, carbon sequestration, improved water quality, reducing risk from natural hazards, biodiversity conservation, alternative livelihoods, and poverty elevation. Besides, it has also set a path towards realizing specific sustainable development goals, especially improved livelihoods in terms of SDG 1, increased water, energy, food security in terms of 267, enhanced climate change resilience in terms of SDG 13, and implemented biodiversity conservation and eco services in terms of SDG 13 and 15 by preserving traditional knowledge. Next, please. Next slide. The best practice book has got a global recognition and fine mention in the Niti Aayog and UNDP best practices. So here you can actually you glance over, you browse. This is put it on the Niti Aayog website as well as a success story of kind of a where a small organization like India Water Foundation who include all the good agencies and you can say the World Bank, EDB, JICA, and other organizations. And they they actually brought up a kind of a success story. Next, please. Next slide, please. I had an opportunity to present this model further at various international platforms, but also gathered best practices globally in Almaty, invited by UNESCAPE. The learnings of the Meghalaya were presented at Stockholm during CV World Water Week in year 2014, 15, and 17. 17. I highlighted how community-based integrated water resource management coupled with the water, energy, food nexus approaches and ecosystem-based adaptation to climate change had helped Meghalaya tide over its water crisis by harnessing stormwater runoff, incur gainful trade-offs by inward and outward linkages. At Geneva, invited by UNECE, I spoke about the harnessing the water, food, energy nexus for the transboundary basin management cooperation while highlighting the case study of Meghalaya, climate change and adaptation. This is jointly hosted by INVO as well. Next slide, please. In 2018, invited by UNESCAPE at the Asia Pacific Forum Sustained Development, the entire profile of SDG 6 and success in the Meghalaya was stressed. And in the same year, during as an influencer at APAN Manila, I presented ecosystem-based adaptation, resilience in Meghalaya, describing how EVA could initially disrupt sectoral thinking, nevertheless entail the potential of subsequently making a decisive contribution in the terms of driving SDGs by improving livelihoods. In fact, after this forum, Meghalaya EVA practices found mentioned in the national policy of Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and now in India's third biennial report too. And we also consider this practice in Niti Aayog. I also working member with India 75. So I also contributed this practices in the national mainstream as well. And we put this practices in our newly, recently we formulate the wetland rules. Next slide, please. So our learning have integrated the goal of the natural resource management and livelihoods in parallel. Our efforts emphasized community dialogue along with the role of natural ecosystem, biodiversity and ecosystem services in underpinning sustainable development and ensure that twin goal of natural resource management and livelihoods are simultaneously integrated in every action plan. In a move towards creating a climate natural state green economy, we suggest further adopting green approaches and practices of adaptive management, carbon offset, resource efficiency, rewilding, circular approach, and polluter pay principle. Next slide, please. Next slide. The essence of nature-based solutions lies in fostering human well-being, livelihoods, clubbed with environmental conservation. Next slide, please. In my publication, SARC Outlook on Water, Energy, Food Nexus in SARC region in 2015, I had focused on facilitating reduction of intersectoral externalities by adopting integrated planning and management, and accordingly, equal emphasis on managing land, forest ecosystem, and agriculture to ensure food security imbued with water and energy securities. Next slide, please. The experience gathered shall be well described and documented in my upcoming publication, Ecosystem-Based Adaptation Approach to Sustainable Management and Educate Resources, published by Elsewhere, maybe coming in July 2021, or maybe late 2-3 months because of the COVID. And you are most welcome to go through the link. The link is available to everyone for your kind reference and understanding. Next. We have often seen some proposing tree plantation as the best carbon offset measure, but such compartmentalized effort is a single attempt having short-term impacts. Meghalaya prospered with double-digit economy, but to bring visible impact at the grassroots level due to lack of effective awareness and regular capacity building efforts. It took nearly 10 years for us to augment and further success of the model without any substantial funding for IW work. It is a human tendency. We are able to share profit but never share credit. Nevertheless, it is definitely scalable and replicable model. Become president for other countries in South Asia, Bhutan, Nepal, and the organization like NIFTAM as well. We can be initiated with you. Next slide, please. Here, I would mention that a healthy ecosystem can support economic growth, societal well-being, climate stabilization. And today, Meghalaya has an unprecedented opportunity to transit towards a carbon neutral and natural positive economy with double income, indigenous hunter community transformed into entrepreneurs. China has already pledged towards carbon neutral country by 2060. Japan's prime minister has pledged to cut greenhouse gases to zero on the net basis by 2050. America also pledged to cut Gs by 50%. Ecosystems approach can gain resilience. So for countries like India must focus on in like a nature-based solution to climate change, paving a way towards an Atmanirbhar Bharat that is self-reliant and self-resilient. I'd also mention here that restoration by EVA needs stewardship and partnership. CSOs has limited space and scope, but we must move ahead with the resources already available to us. Moreover, the faster we establish partnership, like-minded CSOs, governments, agencies, institutions, the faster we will invest in nature resource management measures with meaningful ecosystem restoration outcomes and outcomes, and if advanced in India itself reflect a regional success towards achieving sustainable prosperity, but also secure a target under UN restoration as well. Next slide, please. It is a reminder that nature as our ally must not be forgotten in providing the society's needs such as ecosystem services and protection from disaster as well. The head of the UNDP, Mr. Kim Steiner, recently heightened that we currently spend less than $100 billion a year on nature. Now that the ecosystem restoration has in our race to fight against the impact of climate change and the biodiversity loss, it has become imperative to integrate political will, financial capabilities, capacity building, technology transfer into our climate adaptation and mitigation strategies, especially in regions like South Asia, where cooperation is less and much difficult to attain common consensus. So, actually, in 2019, when I participated in the COP, and after that, I also participated in high level at Bangladesh. So we actually address these all issues the same at the platform, and we hope that in this meeting we will actually have some outcomes so that we move forward. So, my dear friend, let's invest in nature. The next slide. So, proud moment for India Water Foundation to be showcased as one of the best 4 civil societies in the world for their climate action story. Thank you for hearing me patiently, and I look forward for your comments and questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dr. Arvind Kumar, for sharing your wonderful work which you have done.